Well, the industry is again shifting in 2023. What this time? You know what? It just seems like it just keeps on hitting you, hitting you, and hitting you. And this has really nothing to do with monetary sales like right now, what's going to happen right now. This is actually going to affect the future of bike shops. What am I talking about? Bike mechanics. Where do they come from? Who are these people? How do they get trained? All that good stuff. Another topic talked about is check consolidation. You know, taking two shops locally into Fort Collins and making it into one. Why is that happening? Go over those couple ideas and details after this.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with a guy. This is As the Wheel Turns, So Do Days of Our Rides series. I will be covering topics of the industry as well as consumer views with my 30 years experience.
If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.
Welcome back to I Know a Guy Bicycles. As the wheel turns, so the days of our rides. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy, and we're going to talk about a couple interesting things. I'm going to kind of consolidate this one so there's not too many topics. I'm going to cover two because they just seem to just run on and run on and run on. Who did have time for that? You know, I mean, I do. Anyway, apparently. Keep it cut it short. One of the biggest news from bicycle retail, it just landed today. Actually, it'll be 2 days ago when I air this. Anyway, time travel is weird and what have you. But anyway, back to the original core subject is Barnett School of Bicycles. Barnett Bicycle Institute. That sounds very familiar. Wait, they're no longer around, are they? Wait, what? Okay, a little bit of history before I launch the bad news. Or maybe it's good news, but mostly I think of it as kind of a negative perspective. Barnett was a school started from an individual back in the 80s that came from Criterion, which was a very famous shop at the time in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And he came over, forget the guy's name, I'll have to look it up. But anyway, he made his school, Barnett, and became known pretty quickly. And through the 90s and the 2000s, that's where if you wanted to get into bicycle mechanics, that's where you went. Why? There's no internet. So that's where you went to learn how to do mechanics from a professional institute. And then you can go get a job at a bike shop and make not as much money as you'd hope to. But you really like the lifestyle and bikes and stuff. Hey, that's kind of cool-ish, you know. Well, anyway, as a business owner with my parents in the 90s, Barnett is a good thing and also kind of a negative thing-ish. Because when you had somebody apply from Barnett's, and that's all the experience that they had, it was kind of like, okay, we're going to have to break you down and rebuild you in a sense. Mom and pop shop, which my parents were, Parker Bikes. It's one of those places where you took those college kids, you taught them how to fix flats, and you got them to bike building, then you taught them into doing repairs over the years, and they'd go to college and move on and get real jobs and whatever. Well, those mom and pop shops are no longer. They do not cultivate that group of mechanics going into the industry, bluntly. So the next step was relying on these institutions that teach people how to work on bikes, basically. Well, where are those mechanics coming from today? Whatever. Where are they coming from today? They're not coming from the mom and pop shops. They're gone. Are they coming from the schools? Some are. Some are self-taught. Some are just, landed in the service department kind of thing and worked their way through. There's several different angles, but there's no clear path really anymore, in the sense that you went to school and then you went to a bike shop and started working at a bike shop. So Barnett's, they sold to the Bicycle Association back in the late 2017 or something like that, because the guy wanted to retire. I get it, right? And then they had it for like a year or two and didn't know what to do with it or how to work it. So Quality Bike Supply, a big supplier of parts and Salsa and various other brands, picked them up, and they carried them for a couple years, and today they basically announced they closed it. So that's basically 300 plus mechanics going into the industry a year nixed. There's other schools out there which they're producing some of that equal to and less, which is fine. But if you think about all the bike shops and all the people and the staff that run those bike shops, it's basically, if you're expecting that employee to walk off the street with a good skill set of working on bikes, is almost summed to 0 to none. That puts you back in the route of like, okay, we got to self-teach these individuals and cultivate them. And that's kind of a big risk because you don't know how long they're going to last. And from there, you do not know if they're going to, keep going in the industry, or are they going to go college and go do something else. Why I bring this up? Why is this big news? Well, where's the future of bike shops going anyway? They're going to the treks and the specialized stores and the pawn stores, not pawn as in pawn shops, as pawn owns a lot of different companies. What those are going into, they're going to have to self-train, basically what it comes down to. And they're going to have to build a business model that actually circumferences this. The reason why I know this, and I know they're going to have to do this well, is because I've worked at Big Five Sporting Goods. While I was there, that was a self-promoting company. Everybody started off as, in management anyway, started off as manager trainee, then you worked up the ranks, up through store manager to district manager, even to the CEO was at that level. So when you're talking about that, we are sitting in a situation where those particular bike companies are going to have to embrace the self kind of hiring and promoting within itself to become more sustainable. Big Five Sporting Goods has been around for like 60 years plus. They have 500-600 stores now, or something of that nature. They're growing. That business model has worked really well, and they're a big box chain on the West Coast of sporting goods. So listen, Trek, Specialized, and Pawn, teach your peoples, give them a route, develop those programs, self-promote within the companies themselves, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. Because Barnett is no longer around. Those other schools are not going to cut it. The mom and pop shops are not going to give you employees anymore because they're no longer around as well, because they've been put out of business. They're sustainable. So hey, that's the ugly truth of what happens to your bike mechanics. Where are they coming from now? Dumb luck. Basically, it comes to like some of the people have been around for a while, like me. I've made my own little sustainable business out of my own garage. If you find me and I work on your bike, you're in really good hands. But it's really become a very huge shortage. This year included, now hiring started super early, and it keeps going and going and going, and they're still shorthanded. So what does that relate to you as the customer? Well, number one, it's not going to be able to find a bike shop that's going to give you your bike back quicker during in season. It's just going to be difficult. The prices are going to go up. And in addition to that you may want to start thinking about working on your own bike. But the golden line, the silver lining of the situation is, hey, guess what? Instead of the 90s, it's the 2020s-ish, whatever that is. And we have the internet. And you're watching this on YouTube. And guess what? There's a whole bunch of other stations and channels and all that and information that is now available for you to learn how to either work and tweak and adjust your own bike. If you're handy with a wrench, you can figure it out, buy the couple of right tools, and boom, you're in business working on your own stuff. Then you can take, that chance, the leap of faith first, and see if you can fix it. And if you do have to give in and take it to the shop and have them look at it and fix it there, that's going to be pretty much your norm. So if you're an avid cyclist or getting into cycling, that's just what our ecosystem has changed into. So silver lining, there's a lot more information out there. The bummer part is it's going to be a really narrow skill set of individuals out there to be able to take care of your needs on the cycling commuting front. Granted, there's a whole bunch of good mechanics out there that are doing well. They're going to be there for a long time, but not every market is going to have this. And this particular closure, amongst a lot of others, is not a big box company not helping to put into the market and try to make things better. It's actually taking away. So anyway, you know, if they couldn't make it work, they should have made it work. Because, you know, it's just one of those things that you got to train people to get into the field, especially in the field which doesn't pay a lot, but you expect a lot from. So, you know, something seems to be rethought about. And I'm thinking, and I'm trying to think about good ideas and how to bring those people back to market. And it's a tough pitch. Anyway, on to the second spotlight. Trek is consolidating. They're taking 2 stores in Fort Collins, Colorado, and making it one. They do have now an official open date, which is June 24th or 23rd, 24th, 25th is their grand opening of this new location. The old shop that I worked at as Lee's, which is the Trek store now, which is technically closing on the 20th of June. So all those peeps are moving over to that new store. The other store I used to work out at off close to CSU campus, which is off of Laurel, which is called Trek North. They're going to be shutting down, I think, a little sooner, I think, if I read that right. So they're taking all those cats and putting them into one location, kind of in between, and going to go. I do have a nice little video of the store development piece of it, where it's just the open space, and you can take a look at it here. This is just a kind of walkthrough of the empty space. I have a floor plan picture, which you can kind of get an idea what's going to go there. In the next week or two, I'm going to take more pictures of, hopefully I can get inside and let me go inside and take the development of it and see how well they're progressing and bring some news to you. And it's also a great little inside piece of how a store is built. If anybody wants to know, this is kind of the 101 of how you do a store development from ground up kind of thing. Granted, they are switching to shops in the one, but the basic concept on this particular one is basically a store development build up from scratch, and they're just moving the stuff in after that. So interesting facts and tidbits on that are coming up soon. It's just one of those situations. I did store development, not as a profession in a big box store of Big Five Sporting Goods, but I was part of one of the store openings that we did store development as one of the managers, and it was a pretty cool experience, seeing an empty space and you build up all the gondolas and displays and get that inventory in and make it immaculate for a grand opening, and then you're like, then you let the customers in and it's all downhill from there. So, anywho, that's my 2 cents this week. As the wheel turns, so do the days of our rides. And stay tuned for the next following weeks of that store development piece and any other insights that have my 30 years of perspective into it. But it's not totally doom and gloom. It's just a different pitch. It's already the same direction it's going. It's just the indicator of like, oh yeah, we really are going that direction. So to all those peeps out there, thank you for subscribing. And again, I'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in to the garage. Have a great day.